Hey, Justin Dyson here, Dyson Apiaries. Doing a little video today. I'm taking some supers of honey off. Just want to kind of walk you through the process, and we'll talk about a few things while we're in here. So there's a couple different methods. You got to get the bees out of the supers. I hear some people take like one frame at a time, you know, a really small operation. But if you want to take the full super off, which is the way I recommend, you got to get the bees out of the supers, and you don't want to have to go through each frame, shake the bees off or brush the bees off, and then put the frame back. You just want to get them out of the super one time. So there's a couple different methods. One is you can use the fume board repellent type things like Bee Gone, Honey Robber. There's several different brands out there. And so you would go down to your row of hives and you would set the repellent on a fume board on top of all of your hives. You would come back a few minutes later and all the bees would have ran down and away from the repellent. Sometimes they actually run out the entrance. They really don't like the scent. So as soon as you take the fume board off, though, it kind of goes away. Doesn't leave any residue or anything. The other method, the method I use a lot, is I just use a leaf blower and blow the bees out. So it always works a lot better when the combs are nice and capped. When you have some that are kind of mixed, capped and not capped, the bees kind of want to hang on a little bit. And there's nothing wrong with taking off a little bit of uncapped honey. It needs to be on the bees for a period of time. You know, it doesn't need to be fresh honey that they just brought in that day or anything like that, because they're still drying that honey down even if it's not capped. And then you can test that honey for the moisture content where it needs to be 18.6. But so wherever you're taking your honey, once you take it off, you need to be careful, especially if you have a lot of bees in the apiary you're working in. If you're taking honey off, chances are there's no honey flow, there's no nectar flow. So there's going to be robbing going on, or it's going to start once you start taking honey off. So always make sure as you take the honey off that you cover it up. You take your super off, you cover it up. Take your super off, cover it up, because you don't want to get into a mess of robbing. Once that starts, it gets kind of difficult to control. So I'm also going to talk about 9 frame and 10 frame setups as far as how we do this. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in here and get some of these supers pulled off, and we'll talk through it as we're down in here. This hive did pretty good. It's got 5 supers on it. I'm not sure exactly how many of them are full. We're about to find out. So I'm gonna set a couple of these off here because they're up pretty high. One of the things I was talking about so we have a 10 frame box here, and in it we put 9 frames. And the reason we put 9 frames in there is, if you look, it's not a great example here. This frame's not drawn out really well, but or they weren't making an ample amount of honey. But when you go to slice the capping off, if you notice, this is out past the bars. From the top you can see that it's out past the bars, so that allows you to run your uncapping knife right down through there and slice that capping off. If this is a 10 frame setup, that capping is even with that wooden bar, and you kind of have to angle your knife in there to get it to take that capping off. So that's, once your combs are drawn out, you draw them out in a 10 frame setup. I put tacks in, so I know, but this is a 10 frame box here. So once I get the frames drawn out, I will the next season I'll use them in a 9 frame setup. So we're gonna go ahead and start getting some of these bees out of here. These aren't all just slam full, but they all have quite a bit of honey in them. The honey flow kind of cut off on us abruptly with some rain this year, so they didn't quite finish some of them. I'm gonna go ahead and put a few supers on this one, and then I'm gonna start blowing these bees out. So when we do the 9-frame setup, I like to have one of these little jigs here. It just evenly spaces 9 frames for us really quickly, so we can do that right there. And now they're nice and evenly spaced in a 9-frame configuration. I'm gonna go ahead and put my veil on here and start blowing some bees out. This box here is not full, so it'll be kind of a pain to blow the bees out of, but we'll still get it. Just as simple as that. That's how I do it around here. We just blow the bees right out of there. You see, it's pretty quick most of the time. Sometimes you'll get some that really want to hang on. It gets a little difficult, but most of the time they blow right on out of there. So thanks for watching. I hope you learned something from this video, and subscribe to the channel if you don't mind dicing apiaries. Y'all have a good day.